to the flag, and a moment of silence in observance of all those who have gone before us to make our country great as it is. It is strictly voluntary.
I'm used to the first case starting at 10.
Ready?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, before I begin our business meeting, we'd like to recognize our tech today is enjoying a birthday, of which I will not state the number, but Matt, on behalf of all of us on the other side of the wall from where you are, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
The first item of business that we have on our business schedule is approval of the minutes from October 11th meeting. You all should have received via email as well as a copy in front of you. Are there any corrections or additions?
No.
Hearing none, they'll stand approved as read. We have a one-day liquor license application from Tom Welliver of Human Services Programs of Carroll County for an indoor event fundraiser, VIP meet and greet event on November 18th at 10 a.m.
That's 10 a.m.
Today.
I see. Well, it is highlighted in black. However, my first question was going to be, what are you serving for VIPs at 10 o'clock in the morning? I would assume Bloody Marys and other types of things. So, Mr. Welliver, what are you going to have? And tell us a little bit about the organization and what you're going to use it for, and name, rank, serial number, anything else you want to say.
Okay. Yeah, I'm representing the Human Services.
First of all, I'm sorry.
Yes.
State your full name and address for the record, please.
Sure. It's Thomas Welliver, 776 Winchester Drive, and that's in Westminster, 21157. So today I'm here representing the Human Services Program of Carroll County. We're holding a fundraising event at 50 East Main Street, or the library Exploration Commons, on the 18th of November from 1 to 4 p.m. The event is mainly focused on celebrating Drew Tevis's accomplishments. As hometown hero, he won the Food Network's Holiday Baking Championship last year, so we came up with the idea of having him speak about his experience in doing a demo on his cooking down in the new area of the library. So after his speech, VIP reception, there'll be about 30 in attendance, 30 to 40 in attendance. We will be serving beer and wine as a part of that reception. If you're not familiar with Human Services Program, some people know us as HSP of Carroll County. We run the shelters, and more importantly, we're an organization that tries to keep people housed and from being in the shelters. So we're trying to improve the lives of the Carroll Countians experiencing homelessness and keeping people from becoming homeless.
How many people do you expect?
We expect 30, but we put 40 as the maximum.
So you're having a private party?
A fundraising event, yes. Private party, yes. We
You say
expect it to be entirely adults, but we will be checking IDs.
you say it's a fundraising event. How do you raise the funds? Sell tickets or what?
Yeah, we're selling tickets for $100 apiece. And we have corporate sponsors also.
Just quickly, I would like to recuse myself from any discussion in this proceeding since I am an employee of the library, which is the location. Thank you.
Who are tickets being offered to? The public or just a group?
For the VIP event, primarily to our sponsors, but yes, to the general public, we had about five or 10 left, but our sponsors have taken most of the VIP tickets. There will be an event after this to the general public, but no alcohol will be served at that point.
And so can you give us an idea of who your sponsors are?
Yes, Barnes Bollinger is our lead sponsor, Marty Hill, the Carroll Hospital Center, and we've had probably 10 or other smaller sponsors.
Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Attorney, is there anything, I can't find it off the top of my head here, in our rules that preclude a so-called private party from one-day liquor licenses that are nonprofit organizations, even though the HSP would be, to your knowledge?
I don't think so.
So this commission has the right to issue a one-day liquor license just about to anything and anybody. Is that what you're saying?
As long as it's nonprofit.
Yeah.
This is a charitable event,
Absolutely.
correct?
Absolutely.
And the proceeds will be used for the
For the operations.
mission of your 501c3.
100%, yes.
You have other fundraisers?
We do not at this point. Well, as a part of this whole event, we have what's called the Gingerbread Festival, where this kicks off the Gingerbread Festival, where in the main floor of the library, people build gingerbread homes and they vote on the winner for, similar to Festival of Trees or Festival of Wreaths. But yes, it's the kickoff to this event.
And you have a maximum of 40 people, is that what you said?
Correct.
What type of beverages, alcoholic beverage would you be serving?
It'll be beer and wine, mainly wine, but beer and wine will be offered.
No hard liquor?
No.
Any questions?
Your logistics for service, will there be a bar that people walk up to and get carded? How's that work?
People will be carded at the door. We believe it's going to be an adult-only event, but people will be carded at the door and designated that they're an adult.
And that designation occurs how?
We're not sure whether we're going to go with wristbands or just a designate on the arm. If there's no minors there, we may not designate.
Okay, thank you. I have no further questions.
Since Commissioner Mulwiney recused, Ms. Brooke, do you have any questions?
I have no questions.
I have no objection,
I have no
Mr.
objection.
Chairman.
Congratulations, good luck.
Thank you all very much.
Just one comment. Certain library employees, if they show up, make sure you check their ID.
I'll make sure I have it on me when I come down.
Thank you all very much.
Good luck. Okay, we just continue on with our business agenda. We have an application for multiple one-day liquor license applications from the Friends of Cascade Park for their outdoor Christmas light shows in November and December of this year, which I assume will be about the same as they had last year.
That's correct.
Everything went along well last year, to
Yes.
your knowledge?
It wasn't as crowded as the first year. Which worked out better because they spread out more days than just trying to do it one day with the alcohol.
In the first year, there was some traffic issues. and
Yeah,
that's all
it was just overwhelmed, that intersection.
I think the first year, they only did the sip and stroll. So there's
Right.
nights where there was the sip and stroll, you couldn't get on Snydersburg Road, I remember. So then they spread it out, so
It does better that way.
alcohol different all the nights.
Yeah, how many days are they asking for?
It's probably,
Well, it's on the front page.
Okay.
It's the different,
All right.
you know, it's like over the weekends and.
maybe 15, 16.
So how many applications are here before I take it apart?
How much money you got?
$800.
Divide that by 50, so 16.
16.
There's 16 different applications here?
No, should be.
16 days.
16 days, okay.
We do one application with multiple dates listed on
Right.
each.
So one application is November 24 to 26, then December 1 through 3, December 8 through 10. So it's, okay, so it's basically during the holiday season, they're doing it every week.
Yes,
Yeah,
every
Fri-
weekend.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I think is what
Yeah.
they do, don't they?
Is that what they did last year, that many?
Yeah, give or take a few, but I mean, it was basically Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
They did several weekends last week, so, or last year, if I remember right.
Right, it just seems like this is a lot more than last year. I'm just trying to compare the two. Does anybody disagree with that?
I thought it was every
I
weekend.
think it was the same.
Same.
I feel like it was the same.
Should I pass this on down?
Yes, you can.
You want to see this, Brooke?
Sure, thank you.
I guess I take it
Which
everyone's
one?
out there.
Which one of you inspectors went?
I did.
You did? Did you? When they say a tree of lights, what, they have like a laid out,
Yeah, it's a walking path, different lights, different decorations. You walk down through the tree line.
And they have
The
different
tunnel.
vendors offering
Yes.
beverages?
I think the bus stop was there last.
Bus stop is there. They do a milkshakes plus an adult version of milkshake. So you get a side of rum or whatever they, and then Pipe to Side was there. And then they also, Cascade, Friends of Cascade Park was also selling beers out of a cooler, beers and wines.
I don't recall. Do part of the proceeds from each vendor go to the Friends of Cascade Lake, or do they make their money at the tickets at the door? How does that work?
I don't remember what they said last, but the first year, they changed it to, all the proceeds were going to Friends of Cascade Lake. I'm not sure about last year.
I
But
want to think last year it was only the alcohol sales. I don't know why I think that.
that might be true. That might be,
think it
that
was.
sounds like something they,
But only a portion of the alcohol sales?
No, I think
No,
all of the
all the
alcohol
alcohol sales.
sales went to the Friends.
The vendors didn't get any money for being
no,
there?
Well, they have their own vending tent of alcohol,
Who?
the Friends of
I know,
Cascade
but
Lake.
besides them,
like Pipe to Side would come and use and they would keep the proceeds.
right. So that's not all alcohol sales?
No, I'm sorry, only the alcohol selling, sales from the Friends
Yeah.
tent. booth, it actually was.
Out of a cooler.
I don't know, I walked up to grab a glass of wine or a beer to walk the trail with, but I didn't get waited on, so I left. I'm just saying. Well, I walked the trail, but dry.
Any objections?
No.
Okay. We have an invitation from Catherine's Cause to the 17th Annual Candle Lighting Remembrance Ceremony on December the 7th, from 7 to 9 p.m., and I assume it's at the Episcopal, or church at the corner of the courthouse. Still there?
Yes, sir.
And we have the delegation meeting at 6 o'clock on the same day.
Same place?
What he's talking about.
That's here. The delegation meeting's
The
here.
delegation reviews with the county commissioners
Oh,
all the
gotcha.
bond, all the bills that they put in, so on and so forth, and we're usually here for about 3 minutes.
And do we all attend
We
that?
wait longer than we talk.
Not necessary, we have them in the past, just the chairman's went in the past, but
Thank you very much for that. I did not know.
anybody's welcome, because you'll just sit there.
Thank you.
You can put me down for attending the Catherine Calls. Are you going to RSVP for us?
I guess I am now, since you told me.
Okay. Can the chairman advise the office manager to RSVP for everyone?
Brooke, you don't need to see us, do you?
You can RSVP for me too, thank you very much.
You got any questions, ask Brooke.
Okay.
What do you want to know?
I didn't, I just asked her to RSVP for me too.
Yeah.
Oh,
And thank
I
you
don't
f-
need the RSVP for you.
And thank you for the invitation.
I'm already RSVP'd.
Yeah.
I'll be there at 9 AM if anybody wants to
Uh,
come help set up.
Okay, the next item we have is a letter from Kelly and Clark thanking the board for outlining the policy about complete applications. It's a testimonial to Joe.
It's a testimonial to Joe, which I always love.
Doesn't mention Tim, just Joe.
Or Keith.
Or Keith, or Jim.
You want to see this?
So, Dave, are you going to go to Catherine's call?
I'll have to check and let you know.
George?
Same out the check, let you know.
Probably, but that's not a yes or no.
George?
Sorry.
All right.
Okay, we got a request from Tyler Whitting of Local Motive to change the floor design of his establishment. Where's Local Motive? I can't
Sykesville,
remember.
Main Street in Sykesville.
Is it the market?
I know
Market Tavern, yep.
The old Market Tavern.
Oh,
The apartment behind them came vacant, and they're trying to expand into that apartment area. They're going to be expanding their seating area and the storage of the alcohol.
Say it was an apartment?
Yeah, it was an apartment back there.
Okay.
Wasn't there a deck back there? That was
There's-
used by the
there's-
previous?
It's like a small deck that mainly it's for the elevator.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's,
Is that-
there's an elevator back there,
It was
Pre-
I think, access for,
the apartment and the elevator, and there's, but they don't, you're not using the outside that. Only outdoor seating they have is in front of the building.
This letter says that it's dry storage areas that they want to turn into more seating.
No, if you look at, my understanding is that storage, they're going to turn that into, on the map, look at the picture.
I see the picture.
That's going to turn that into storage, into seating.
Okay. We have some dry storage areas connected to our dining area that we would like to turn into more seating. That's what the first sign of letter of the,
Okay. I went by the map more than I went by the letter.
Have you been down there since they requested this?
Not since they requested, no, they sent that Monday, and I revised it, and I got it Tuesday. I've not been down, was down there before then when they opened up. Have you been down there?
I've been down there, did an inspection, but I'm going down to Sykesville on Friday, so I can nip in there and find out what the deal is.
So they have to go through like zoning and permits and everything
No.
before?
No, it's just,
So doesn't changing, if it is the apartment, doesn't changing from a residential parking to a commercial restaurant change the parking
I-
criteria?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't
So
know.
they'll have to go, probably.
If it was my understanding, it was departments, but that's my understanding. It doesn't say that.
The Sykesville's requirements anyway. And if I remember correctly, the mayor and
And the landlord.
the other lady, Julie Della Maria.
Economic development.
Her name was, they all three appeared when the applicant came before us.
Yeah, but isn't something that like, isn't that county zoning in that?
No, it's
aspect?
town.
Is it
Town.
town?
To town.
Incorporated town.
Okay. Because when I built in the city of Westminster, the county dictated to me how much
Well,
parking.
that's permits and building. Zoning is done
Okay,
done
so
to,
permits, so
yes.
that's when, do they have to go through them?
I don't think they're they're changing anything structure-wise. But Jim can find out.
I'll have a look on Friday.
Do they give us an idea of how many seats they want to add?
No, just, the drawing is,
How many do they have now? They gotta have 50.
they have 53, they're just over, because when it was Market Tavern, they actually had more sales space than they had, but they got rid of all the sales space. It just,
That's all seating where the retail stuff used to be set up.
correct.
Yeah, wasn't they one of the handful that was touch and go, whether they had 50 or not?
Right, and that also, when we changed the rule for allowing bar seating, has helped.
Right.
Because now they can have, technically, they can have 36 tables and chairs, and up to 15 or up to 14 bar seating.
Bob Brooks, look at that. What's the status of the Baldwin Station, what the hell ever the name of it is?
I've been there twice, and both times it's been vacant. It's been locked. There are stuff out in the back deck. There are some old alcohol. There's also TVs. There's also tablets, iPads, that's for taking the order. There's a lot of stuff unsecured on the back deck.
You know, if they made any structural changes, that would be county permits.
Right,
But if
right.
there's a need for a change of use,
Right,
that would be the town of Sykesville.
okay.
And the parking, probably also Sykesville.
Stuff.
Sykesville's gotta have minimum parking requirements for most anything they got down there, because they don't have any room for parking. Other than on
Well, that's why I asked, because like,
E.W. Beck's, whatchamacallit, the contractor behind there.
you know, that's why I asked, because like an apartment, you figure maybe 2, 3 spots, but if
Any
you're gonna
objections?
add
Any
5
questions?
tables, then-
No objections.
No objections.
All right, Miss Joe, we have anything that came up at the last minute for the business?
No, but, our next meeting, since it's December, we always do lunch together. And Keith and I are suggesting for this year stables.
What kind of agenda hey,
We have,
We have 3 cases. Two in the morning, then a lunch break, and 1 in the afternoon.
all new transfers. And 2 of the transfers are brand new, and 1 is a previous, has another place also. So you've approved her once before as a restaurant.
what?
You approved the guy that wants to be transferred his name, you approved him once
Oh,
before as a
in other words,
licensee.
The licensee, we've
Yes.
already approved, okay. You confused me when you said restaurant or whatever.
Well, you also approved the restaurant too, but that was, well, not this board, but it was a long time ago. I guess it's public record, right?
What?
We can say who they are?
Yeah.
Paradisos is transferring,
Antonio.
to Antonio.
Paradisos is the Forks?
Yeah, the old Barrel House.
Yeah.
Yeah. Antonio's gonna be the owner, primary owner, but Omar's gonna be the licensee.
Jim, she talks like I know who Omar is and who this one is.
Oh, you do,
I
because
have no idea who they're talking about.
Omar's the licensee on
Hampstead.
Cinco de Mayo, Hampstead.
Oh, that guy.
That guy.
Yeah.
First name or last name?
That's his first name. Ambrose Toga is his last name.
What?
Ambrose Toga.
And what's the other two places? I can't,
Eh,
I have no objection to
that
Staples.
got
I
pushed
have
back.
fond memories
Objections
there.
to
No, I don't,
Staples.
I would,
Oh,
Make
yeah.
a reservation, or,
Yeah, you okay with Staples?
And can they put tablecloths on our table since it's Christmas?
they do have tablecloths on there. They're not white linen, but they're plastic.
I'll ask Stanley.
Tell him Keith is bringing a.
No,
Well,
no. Joe asked Stanley, has more weight than me asking Stanley.
Stanley's my, no, I'm not saying that. Already. Stanley's my friend.
And then Sunoco in Tawnytown is transferring ownership. That's a Class A beer wine.
Is that a grandfathered one?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, Tawnytown's approved for one license, and they have five licenses. They only approved for one.
And House of Liquors is changing hands.
Okay, well, are we agreed on Staples number one?
we agreed on Staples, yes.
Okay? You'll take care of that.
Thank you.
You really want to get something done, what's the girl's name at Ken's Bar?
You mean Christie, or who?
Long hair.
Oh,
Been there forever.
Sharon. She only works Monday and Tuesdays.
Was that right?
Yeah, she cut back her hours.
Oh, we'll have to change the meeting then to Monday.
Okay, anything else on the business agenda? We've got 3.5 minutes before Miss Kelly. And we're going to hold her to it.
Anything you want to add to the business agenda? Oh, of course.
No, I have nothing to, I was just gonna move up into my seat. I have nothing to add to the business agenda. All of my clients are here. I know we probably still won't start until 10:30, but I just wanted you to know that.
We have to wait for the massive crowd saying that.
Yes,
it's not-
exactly.
Not a good thing to have.
Okay, that completes our business agenda. Our next meeting will be December the 13th in this room, I assume, at 10 a.m.
I cracked up when I saw this Fairway to Heaven.
That's a bad name because there's a lot of bad language used on them things. And I have been a participant, so I've talked firsthand, not hearsay. Well, let's do what the legislature does on the last day at Sinai, okay? By my watch, it's 10:30. So, Mr. Dixon, will you please call case 6477, please?
All right, case 6477, an application for a new Class B beer, wine, and liquor license to be issued to Michael L. Spence and Melissa Spence for the use of Fairway to Heaven, Inc., trading as X Golf Eldersburg, 1346 Liberty Road, Sykesville, Maryland, 21784 in Election District 5. In the file of this matter, we have the following documents. An October 31st, 2023 letter from Kelly Schaefer Miller to the board. A letter from India Richards, Revenue Specialist, to the board. There's an October 27, 2023, notice of public hearing for this case. There's an October 20th, 2023, notice of public hearing for this case. There's a October 17, 2023, letter from India Richards, Revenue Specialist, to the board. There is a response to Joe Vance's request to various state and local agencies from Lisa Staley, Health Department, with the box checked, this establishment does not meet the requirements of this office. See the attached memorandum. Needs to complete a final inspection and licensing from the Health Department. There is a response from Belinda Gassell, Collections Office, to Joe Vance's request to various state and local agencies. The box is checked. The above referenced establishment does meet the requirements of this office. There's an October 6, 2023 letter from Joe Vance to Michael L. Spence and Melissa Spence about this hearing. There's an October 5th, 2023 letter from Kelly Schaefer Miller to the board. And that letter includes an application, and the application includes character references, MVA records, a lease, criminal background information, floor plans, a menu, SDAT information, other licensed establishments, articles of organization, plot plan, corporate minutes, and stock information. I would ask that the file be entered into evidence.
We'll accept that into evidence. This time I would ask all those who intend to testify in the case, please stand, raise your right hand, and be sworn in by Ms. Vance.
Do you swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
You all may be seated. At this time, Ms. Kelly, good morning. You may proceed.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Kelly Schaefer Miller, 73 East Main Street, Westminster, Maryland, 21157. I'm here today on behalf of the applicants, Michael and Melissa Spence, who are both present and seated to my left. From Mr. Dixon's introduction of the file, this board is aware that we are here today requesting a Class B beer, wine, and liquor license. This location, most of you may be familiar with, was the former Goodwill building in Eldersburg near the intersection of 32 and 26. A portion of that building will be leased by the Spences for this operation. So the reason you saw note of the health department having not approved yet is because the renovations still have to be finalized to complete the kitchen within that existing building. It's near the Glory Days, if you're familiar with that area, and kind of adjacent to the shopping center with the Home Goods. So you will hear testimony from both of my clients today, but I did want to just generally describe X Golf to you if you are unfamiliar, as I was when they first came into my office. So X Golf is a franchise sort of establishment where Michael and Melissa will be the owners of this franchise location. And X Golf is a nationwide model, if you will. So almost all of the facilities are similar in their design and features. And that is that the business is golf simulators. So it's an indoor sort of facility. This location does have some outdoor patio seating, but the simulators themselves are indoors, and the business model is to have an accompanying restaurant and bar associated with the use. So a full restaurant menu with a full liquor license. And Michael and Melissa have been approved for this franchise location, have started the training through X Golf, and are now at the stage where they're working to get final approvals for, in terms of building permits, health department, and obviously before this board here today. And then they will continue through the X Golf training and be required to shadow at another location somewhat nearby, prior to opening this location. So you will hear all of that in testimony, but I just wanted to kind of explain that initially because I think that is helpful. The floor plan was included in the application, and this is a pretty contained space, if you will. So even though you're envisioning these golf simulators, it's not a massive warehouse type of family entertainment establishment. This is a contained space, and it's similar to some of the other locations across the United States as well. So with that being said, I will first call, and perhaps this goes without being said, but Michael and Melissa are husband and wife. They live in Mount Airy, and this is their kind of future plans to open this business here in Carroll County. So I will then begin introduction of Michael and his testimony. Michael, can you please state your name, spelling your last name, and your address for the record?
Michael Spence, S-P-E-N-C-E, and I'm at 14011 Silver Fern Drive in Mount Airy, Maryland.
Michael, is it true that you have applied today for a Class B beer, wine, and liquor license for the location that has been described in the application?
Yes.
And is everything in that application true and accurate to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Are you currently a resident of the state of Maryland?
Yes.
And you have applied for this license under the name Fairway to Heaven Incorporated, doing business as X Golf Eldersburg. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Are you a owner of that entity?
Yes.
Or I should say stockholder of that entity? Okay, and approximately what % stock do you hold in that entity?
95%.
And who else holds the remainder of the stock in that entity?
That would be my wife.
Do you understand that even though you've applied before this board in the name of an incorporation, that you individually are responsible for purposes of this liquor license, meaning that any violation, it comes to you, any correspondence related to this license, everyone is looking directly at you and your wife as license holders?
Yes.
Okay.
Understand that.
Now, you heard my opening statement kind of describing the business, but I'd like you to actually testify and explain what X Golf is.
Okay. So X Golf is, as Kelly described, it's an indoor golf simulation business where customers can come in and they can work on their swings. It's just hitting a golf ball into a screen, but it's a little bit more than that. We have lasers and a lot of different equipment that actually, It calculates your club face, your club swing through. It calculates the ball spin, the backspin, the smash factor, everything in it within it's thousands of different things that it's actually calculating in a second, so you can see where your ball is actually going to go on the screen. It's 98%. It's 98% accurate. It's one of the best things on the market today for indoor golf simulation. And so you can actually come in and just put a driving range up and just, keep working on some of your clubs. You can play many different golf courses. So if you want to Whispering Pines, you can play that. And the graphics are really nice. You can, if you just like to play the whole, the ninth hole at, Whispering Pines, sure, pick it up and just play that hole. So it's a lot of flexibility in that manner. But along with that, we have PGA Pro will be on site and on staff. They will be helping to do some golf fittings for the clubs and as well as training. So the training will be conducted, on site. And, that's where we can, have them work on your club, how you're swinging, just everything that the Golf Pro is really going to help you out with your game. And of course with that, that's the golf simulation type aspects. But we also do putting, and that kind of sets us apart from anybody else on the market. Right or left-handed can use our facility because of how the balls are fed from after you call for your next ball. The tee will tee it up for you, and then you can, hit it with your drivers or your clubs. But if you are putting, our putting is, very accurate as well. We have a space for that. Is that, and then we have the restaurant and the entertainment part. So X-Golf, their logo, their slogan is play, train, and entertain. Should have led with that. So, so with that, so you can play and train with the PGA Pro, like I said, but entertainment is also a factor where we'll have sporting things on the TV. We'll also have, the food and bar as well. Like Kelly said, that's a part of X-Golf's repertoire across the nation.
Mike, you kind of just answered that, but is this model kind of the same X-Golf model that you would see across the United States?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And is it accurate, as I stated in my opening, that you've already been approved by X-Golf to operate a franchise location?
Yes.
Okay. And as part of your X-Golf experience to date, have you already attended some associated trainings related to just the operation of X-Golf facilities?
Yes.
Okay, and is it standard that other X-Golf franchise locations offer similar food and beverage to what you're requesting?
Yes.
Okay. And you heard me say this in my opening, but is it also accurate that as part of the X-Golf franchise requirements prior to opening, you will be required to shadow another X-Golf facility similar in nature to the one you'll be opening?
Yes.
Okay. And upon opening, will your location also be subject to some corporate oversight from X-Golf itself as well?
Absolutely. They send people out to make sure everything's running smoothly.
Okay. Now, we've provided a floor plan, which I'm going to just put in front of you so that you can, in case you need to reference it, you have it there available. That was supplied with the application package that was initially submitted. Will there be at least 50 seats at tables and chairs at this location?
Yes.
Okay. And can you explain, is each table served by a server?
Yes.
Okay. And then there is a bar area depicted on that layout as well, correct?
Correct.
And the bar seating, is that served by a separate bartender?
The bartender, yes.
Okay. Now, there's also an area on there noted as the outdoor seating. Is that an adjacent sort of patio area?
Yes.
Okay, and that's sort of, this building exists today, correct?
Yes.
So it will undergo interior renovations to accommodate this floor plan and this use, correct?
Yes.
That outdoor section is part of what exists today, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, the outdoor area, let's talk a little specifically about that. Will that also be served by table service?
Yes.
Okay. And is that enclosed in any way?
Yes.
Okay. Can you just describe that a little bit and how it's accessed?
So down the side, if you've been to that Goodwill, they have a big garage door on the right with a fencing down the side. So a fencing and pillars, right? So there's no way in from the outside, obviously, unless you open the garage door, but that's.
So that's the area that so this is kind of an open air, if you will, enclosed
It
outdoor
doesn't have a
area,
roof,
correct?
yeah,
Okay.
correct.
Okay. And probably was like a loading bay or something.
They use it for loading and their trash.
Okay. Do you anticipate having video surveillance around the entire space?
Absolutely.
Now, as part of the application package that's been provided, you provided a menu as well. Is that a fair representation of the type of food that will be offered at this location?
Yes.
And are you aware of the meal requirements to hold a Class B beer, wine, and liquor license in this county?
Yes.
Are you willing to comply with all of those meal requirements?
Yes.
Can you explain to this board your anticipated hours and days of operation?
Right now, we're thinking Sunday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 10 p.m., and Friday and Saturday, 9 a.m. to midnight.
Okay. And do you have any prior experience in the restaurant industry yourself?
No, other than a busboy when I was a kid.
Okay. How are you currently employed?
I'm an IT security analyst. I do insider threat as a contractor to the NSA.
Okay. In your current employment capacity, do you have or have you gained management experience?
Yes, I've been task lead on a lot of programs and was vice president of one of my last companies.
And do you anticipate that that will translate into your role at this business?
Yes.
Can you explain what your daily role at this location would be?
I'll be owner-operator and will be involved in every aspect of the business, from hiring to training and customer service, really running the show, bringing people in, showing them how to use the simulators, and taking their orders and things like that.
As part of that role in this business, will you be responsible for developing and training employees?
One in here.
Yes.
Okay. Is it also your intent to hire a general manager for this facility?
Yes.
Will the general manager also be part of the training process for new employees? Will they be involved in helping to train new employees as well?
Yes.
And have you taken any alcohol awareness training?
I have. Here at Carroll County with these guys.
Okay, so you have taken the training that the county offers and received your certification, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Will you require your employees to complete some form of alcohol awareness training?
Yes.
Can you explain that to me a little bit?
So if they, well, obviously they need to have an alcohol handling certification, but I'm definitely going to be using the Carroll counties because, as I mentioned to you outside, I think you guys have a great program here. While I was talking to other ex-golf franchisees, and talking about their alcohol awareness training programs, these guys do something different than that I was very impressed with, and I thought everybody did it, but I was telling him we actually get to identify fake IDs, which is phenomenal. That's really what you really need to see, and I thought it was phenomenal. So yeah, I'm going to be having everybody go through that.
Is it your intent to have, to send any employees who are not certified through the monthly training?
Say that again?
Is it a fair summary of your intent to send new employees who don't already have a certification through the county's monthly training that they offer?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay. Now, in addition to requiring that certification for new employees, will you also have an in-house training program for those employees?
Yes.
Have you discussed whether you will or will not accept vertical IDs?
We will not accept vertical IDs, no.
Okay. Have you discussed your policy on requesting identification?
We will have everybody card, anybody that's under 40.
Okay. So your employees will be trained that anyone who looks over 40 is required to present identification?
Correct.
Okay. Will you ensure that your employees are trained on this board's rules and regulations specifically?
Yes.
Are you aware of the state's attorney's diversion program where this board works with the state's attorney's office to report any violations to the state's attorney's office?
Yes.
Okay. Will you make your employees aware of that and train them on that policy?
Absolutely, yes.
Have you discussed any sort of policy whereby a new employee will be required to shadow an experienced employee?
Yes.
Okay, and what will that look like?
We'll definitely have them shadow for a few shifts, probably 3 shifts or more if needed.
So as part of your in-house training program, you will train your employees on all of these sort of policies that you just outlined to this board. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Are you familiar with this board's rules and regulations booklet?
Yes.
Okay. And are you willing to comply with all of the rules and regulations of this board?
Yes.
Those are my only questions of Mike, Mr. Spence, unless this board has any.
Commissioners, questions?
I may have missed it, but what was your policy on vertical IDs?
We are not accepting vertical IDs, no.
And I don't know if this is still a thing yet, so correct me if I'm wrong. Do you pay any proceeds to the franchise for having the franchise, or was it a straight-out buy?
There's a franchise fee, yes. Well,
Is that still,
yeah, they're going to take a percentage of the profit, yes. Is that what you're asking?
yes? And to George, is that, are they allowed to take a percentage of the alcohol profits?
Yeah, so for a lease, no.
Okay.
For a franchise, I'd have to look at the franchise agreement.
Okay.
But I don't know of any prohibition, and maybe Tim has more information on that.
There's not, okay. Thank
You're-
you for
you're-
that
you're-
clarification.
You're probably referring to, as Commissioner Barnhart mentioned,
The lease.
the lease.
Okay, thank you for that.
I have a couple of questions. So your current employment is IT, security.
Correct.
Are you an independent contractor?
So I work for a contracting company down there, yes.
Okay, and how many hours a week do you devote to that job?
40 hours a week.
So for this establishment, how many hours would you be able to devote on premise?
So one of the great things about where I am in my job and down there, the customer that I work with, they afford me a lot of latitude. There's a lot of flexibility in my schedule. So, yeah, I'm definitely aware of this time split, especially getting this up and running. So, yeah, and they're phenomenal, so.
Okay, so in the beginning, as you're starting up this business, you intend to be present on premises a fair amount. Is that fair?
Yes, I've been banking a lot of leave and vacation and,
Okay.
yeah, finishing all my projects, so I can do that.
And you had mentioned other companies that you've been involved with, I guess, other companies where you either own or you're a shareholder. Can you give us an idea of what those companies were all about?
Same thing. So, down there, it's a contracting, to the federal government. So,
Right.
You either change jobs when the contract ends and you go to a different company in a different role. But, most of the time, it's another company buying your company, so you're a new company and you're just the same person.
Okay, I'm clearer now. I thought that these were your companies, but they're companies that you work for.
Correct,
Okay.
correct.
In the floor plans, there were 5 rental units, and then there's an X through 1. So I assume that this business will be in the ones that do not have an X through them?
Oh, sorry, we're looking at the plot.
Oh, yes, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, the left two sections there, that's going to be Top Gun batting cages. They have their main facility over by Stratosphere Social. So John Roddy and them, they're taking the other 2 spots.
So you'll have about 80% of the floor space in there of that building.
Correct.
Do you have someone in mind right now for general manager?
We do not right now. We're just talking with so we have weekly meetings with X-Golf Corporate, and, they have everything. There's like 160 things that we're checking off in a timeline. And we're just now getting to that point within the next couple weeks to start actually looking for and starting to get our advertisements out for that.
Okay, so
position.
how far along that timeline are you now? For the requirements of the X-Golf, there's a timeline where you're following and you're pretty far ahead. Are you halfway through it, or are you?
So we're projected opening date. They have
they have set at February 9th. But that's going to be, that's going to be, dependent on the building permits, that we haven't gotten back yet. So that that's going to kick, that could kick that ball down the road. But plus, we have to order our simulators from X-Golf Corporate. And that's supply and demand. So, that could be up to 12 weeks. So we could, so that was just a soft date so we could lay out all those 160 things that so we're fairly, we're going down through it pretty well.
Is this the first business that you've ever had as a proprietor? Air quotes?
Yes.
You mentioned that IDs will be checked at X-Golf. Who does the checking?
So the bartenders, the staff, if somebody's ordering
Okay,
alcohol.
so there's table service.
Yes,
Okay. If someone goes to the bar, there are seats at the bar?
yes,
If someone goes to the bar, they get carded by the bartender. If they have table service, they get carded by the server.
correct.
And it looks like there's various stations where one can go and do simulations
Yes,
around the building. And so that would be an area where someone could take a beverage as they practice their putting or practice their drives?
yes,
Well, explain the table seating. There's tables with each of the simulators. So I tried to put a number 4, just indicating how many seats were available at those tables if you have the floor plan in front of you. But there's a table prior to the simulator, so it's similar to like a bowling lane.
I was going to say that.
Yes,
So-
exactly.
yeah.
Do you have a projection of how many people you might employ or need?
We're projecting 6 right now, depending on, yeah, 6 to 8, I think, is where we were looking at initially.
Will you have someone on premises with their PGA card?
I'm sorry?
Will you have a professional there?
Yes. Yes.
You understand what he just said? A PGA, professional?
A PGA Pro, yes. That's our intent, to have a PGA Pro on site.
So do some training and
He is going to be doing
give lessons.
a lot of the lessons and the fittings and things like that, yes. Yes,
And that's normal with this franchise? That's one of the amenities that they provide generally?
absolutely, absolutely. And if you luck out, he can also double as the general manager, right? So that, some places do their PGA Pro, that's all they want to do is give lessons, and we hire a general manager. So sometimes, they are really wanting to do both, and, and they're fully capable of doing that, right? So, we're hoping to find the unicorn there, but, if we have to, we'll have.
Does X-Golf help you find your personnel?
They do, they give you avenues to go explore, to go, they give you ideas on how to collect those people, and they're helping us draft our ZipRecruiter advertisements for them. We have, like I said, weekly meetings and with the X-Golf Corporate, and we talk about certain things, certain interview questions and things like that, whenever it's specific to that. So that helps us figure out the type of person that we want.
Can you give me a better idea of your kitchen, of your restaurant, the operation? Unfortunately, there's the menu. I missed it. Can you just,
That's what you're just looking at. That's what we're just looking at, the qualifications of the menu.
no, I didn't even see it. Can you tell us more about the menu and the restaurant that you intend to have?
Sure.
He's gonna pull up the menu so that he has it in front of him as well while he's looking at it.
2 black pages?
Yep.
So this is a sample of what X-Golf, has as a template for what most locations could serve. It's, the kitchen itself is, I can't remember the dimensions offhand, but it's going to be like the Mary Chef or Turbo Chef type of oven. Are you familiar with those? Yes, okay. So that's the type of food we're going to have. So we've been talking with Cisco and Performance Foods, right? And so we're looking at the options for food items.
Mike, will it have to be licensed as a commercial kitchen? Are you aware of whether it will have to be licensed as a commercial kitchen through the health department?
I believe, right?
I'm asking you, but.
I believe that's why we're going through the.
I can ask your wife, because when she
Yeah,
testifies,
yeah.
because she's vehemently shaking her head, yes.
Yeah,
so.
so we're going through the health department. We did those filings, just.
I just wanted to clarify that since we were talking about.
Just this last
kitchen
week.
equipment, I
Yes.
just I thought that just was a
So on your
comprehensive
floor
statement.
plan, there's a bar area, then there's a prep area. Is the prep area going to be what you call the kitchen?
Yes, yes. So it's really, it's really just, the room, we're gonna have the walk-in cooler, for the beverages there. The triple sink is in the plan there, and then the countertop with the Turbo Chef or Mary Chef oven on top of it, right?
So the criteria for a Class B in the food category is it has to have at least 3 entrees and 2 vegetables, which must be available during the breakfast, lunch, or dinner hour, 2 of those 3 hours. So that doesn't look like your menu meets that criteria.
I believe it does, because I always review that before I submit a menu. So I'm not, are you pointing to something specifically that it doesn't meet?
Well, entree is just.
They're all appetizers.
Right, entree is defined as a meat, fish, or poultry meal with 2 vegetable sides, and so that's an entree. When you think entree, you
Is
think.
that defined in the rules
your-
and regulations as an entree? Is that what
No.
we're?
No, it is
I
not,
understand
but
that
the
way.
word entree enough should speak for itself.
Well,
It's a bar
I-
menu.
I mean, I
Burgers,
would
wings.
respectfully disagree with the application of that definition that's not in the rules and regulations. I think a lot of these things do qualify, in my opinion, as an entree. I would order sliders as an entree, depending on the situation. I would order chicken tenders with fries as an entree. So I think that's how I base my analysis of these menus, because our rules and regulations do not provide a strict definition of entree. So I think that this does meet the requirements of the entree, and it does meet the requirements, as you'll see on there, there are vegetables offered. I acknowledge that it's not the place you're gonna go and have 5 salads available to you. That's just not the type of business model that this is, that some restaurants do have available to them. But I don't think that that makes this any less a restaurant, and I do believe that it is qualified under the meal requirements, of the rules and regulations. Otherwise, I wouldn't have submitted this application to you.
I understand exactly what you're saying, and I agree with you to a certain point. However, I don't think the intent was ever, and you all are lawyers, and you'll argue both points, both of you, 3 of you. I don't think the intent ever was that a Class B restaurant license not have 2 full meals with 3 full entrees available. You can consider, it's the same way with me. Yesterday, I went into the Green Turtle. They have rockfish bites. That's what I had for lunch. It's an appetizer. You can consider it as a entree if you want. I'm speaking personally now. If we have to spell out everything ABC, this book would be thicker than this book to satisfy every attorney's definition of everything. To me, personally, this doesn't qualify as entrees. But that, I'm one person and so forth. Now, this, as Mr. Spence has pointed out, is a menu that's recommended or suggested by X-Golf or whoever it is. The layout is big. Mr. Spence, you could get in this business tomorrow without having to go through all this stuff. All you got to do is go buy Top Golf. It's for sale in Baltimore.
For a mere $30 million.
It's much more elaborate, sophisticated than what you're talking about.
Yeah, but they're not as good as us, as X-Golf.
Well, the only reason I mention that, they haven't been there that long, and they're for sale already.
Right.
So I hope you have done some due diligence before you step into this full-time, full-fledged for X-Golf. Where are the closest franchises to here?
So the closest one that's open right now is in Pasadena, Maryland, which yeah, I invite you guys to go down and take a look at it yourselves. It's phenomenal. There is one coming up open in, did we hear in December is their target opening date where Champions used to be up in Frederick. You know right where the yeah, okay, so you know where Champions used to be. So that's going to be an X-Golf right there in Frederick. There's one in Annapolis. They're right about running the same neck and neck with us, going to open, hopefully in February or March. So Bel Air, they're still under construction, I believe. So there's several locations around here that are coming up for open, but Pasadena is the one that's closest. Closest.
So the whole franchise is relatively new to the state.
Yeah, yeah, X-Golf Pasadena has been there for a little over a year and a half.
Where's the home office?
The home office of X-Golf America, that's up in Michigan.
Are you required to buy the equipment, or do you lease it from X-Golf?
We purchase it.
So that's a pretty sizable investment.
Absolutely.
Have you made that investment yet?
It's coming, so no, we have not put the money out yet, but
But
it's.
you've been told roughly the size of the investment you have to make?
Absolutely. We got 8 simulators, and they're approximately $70,000 per simulator.
So you're putting a lot on the line
We are.
financially
We are.
and personally.
Personally, yes, and financially, yes. 100%.
And you're going to have equipment sales?
Yes, like shirts and
Oh, I'm talking about Callaway,
golf clubs.
TaylorMade,
Yes,
Cobra.
yes.
You're going to have a fully stocked pro shop?
With, what's your, fully stocked as in, so we will sell clubs, shirts, and balls, and gloves, and hats, and things like that in our merchandise area. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, if you're having, I mentioned Cobra, I mentioned Top Flight, I mentioned
TaylorMade and Callaway.
TaylorMade, Callaway,
TaylorMade is our.
XG or whatever it is.
Right. TaylorMade is X-Golf's preferred right now.
Do you play golf?
Yes.
Do you belong somewhere?
I'm sorry?
Belong to a club?
No.
You won't need to if you get this.
Right. Right. Yeah, I'm not
How
that
many?
good.
How many courses are available in the menu?
Golf courses?
Yeah.
Oh, that didn't make this application.
Just give them a rough ballpark.
I'm just curious.
I think there's,
You got to pay for them, that's why I asked.
I want to say around 60 different courses.
Apparently you've played Whispering Pines.
I can't remember which ones I picked when I.
So I say, you
Have you
mentioned.
played Whispering Pines?
Whispering
Oh,
Pines?
No, I have not.
You have not?
No.
You mentioned it several times. I have. That's the only reason I asked you that. Okay. It's got nothing to do with this. I was just.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. Yeah, right.
A certain lady to your far right's father has the ability to play a lot of those courses that you're going to have at his club at the present time.
I don't know that he's ever utilized that capability, but yes, there's a simulator at one of the local clubs. Yeah.
Right.
You mentioned entertainment. I assume you're just talking about TVs and so on and so forth in your restaurant?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you have any, I'm sure you got a business plan. How many patrons do you project that you will have? For instance, a golf course will play 35,000 rounds or 15,000 rounds, or you will have how many projected to meet your financial goal?
If I didn't have known that, I would have run my spreadsheet. I actually did a spreadsheet on where I needed to be and how many hours I would need to sell on the simulators to that. I don't have that with me.
But you think you'll meet
But
it?
you have,
Oh, absolutely.
you have a plan to meet.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Any other questions of Mr. Spence?
No, not this time.
If not,
Thank you. I would next call Mrs. Spence. Melissa, can you please state your name and address, spelling your last name for the record?
Melissa Spence, S-P-E-N-C-E, 14011 Silver Fern Drive, Mount Airy, Maryland.
And is it true that you've also applied today for a Class B beer, wine, and liquor license for the location that's been described?
Yes.
Is everything that's a part of that application true and accurate to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
And have you been present for the entirety of your husband's testimony, and did you hear everything that he spoke to?
Yes.
Was everything that he spoke to true and accurate?
Yes.
And are you also an owner of the entity?
Yes.
Okay, that entity is Fairway to Heaven Incorporated, correct?
Yes.
Now, your husband testified, but I'll ask you, what percentage of stock do you hold in that entity?
5.
Okay. So, similar to your husband, you understand that although you've applied today before this board as, under the name of an incorporation, that you independently are responsible for anything related to this liquor license or this liquor board?
Yes.
Okay. And will you also have a daily role in the operation of this business?
Yes.
Can you explain that to the board, please?
I plan on being there for a lot of the day-to-day, helping the other employees with the customers. I'm going to oversee the food ordering, the bookkeeping, the payroll, make sure all of that is where it needs to be. Oversee training, planning, a lot like trying to get corporate events and booking like parties and things like that in our slower season.
Okay, so you'll be an owner and an active operator of this establishment, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you heard all of your husband's testimony related to how employees will be trained and the specific policies of the establishment. Were all of those accurate to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Okay. And will you also have a role in helping to train employees?
Yes.
Can you explain just generally your role in that?
We'll be overseeing the general manager in there as well, helping to train all the new employees to make sure they're comfortable, that they understand all of the rules, and how everything operates. We will do at least 3 days, possibly 5, depending on how quickly they pick everything up.
Okay, so you will have an active role in you had an active role in deciding on these policies with your husband, correct?
Yes.
And then you will have an active role in training employees on the policies of the establishment, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Are you familiar with this board's rules and regulations booklet?
Yes.
Okay. And are you willing to comply with all of those rules and regulations?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I'll piggyback off of one of Mr. Barnhart's earlier questions, because I see it potentially coming to you, too. Can you just describe generally your investment in this business and what this means to you for your future?
For us, it means a lot, you know, we've been looking for a long time to try to find something to invest in, you know, to make sure we have a good secured future. And we went to an X Golf last year, and we just fell in love with the concept and the atmosphere and, you know, what it was all about. And, you know, it felt right. This was it for us. This is something that we enjoy doing. We enjoy golfing as a family. I'm not good at it, but we enjoy it. And it just seemed like the right thing for us to be doing.
Those are my only questions of Mrs. Spence.
Questions of Ms. Spence?
I have a few. You've already established that this is a huge investment that you're making, and that personally and financially. And I think it's clear that this is an amenity that a community would embrace if you had the right community. How did you come to choose Eldersburg for the location?
We've looked in a couple of different areas, but Eldersburg, there's not a lot to do in Eldersburg, Sykesville area, but there is a lot of golf. I'm trying to think of the right word, like golf courses, and there's a lot of golfers, you know, in the area. We did ask, you know, several people that we know that live in this area, you know, get their thoughts, and everybody that we've spoken to is very excited about it.
So how far away is your nearest competition for this type of amenity?
I would say probably, Columbia maybe? There's a couple in Columbia, different, they're not X Golf, and their simulators are nowhere near as advanced as X Golf's. And I do know that X Golf, like anybody that has been near them as far as competition, has never been able to compare with what X Golf offers.
So you're happy that you can compete with any competitor, even though, and they're not even in Carroll County?
Absolutely.
And is it your testimony that this would be a valuable amenity to Carroll County and to South Carroll and to the community?
Yes.
Those are all the questions I have, Mr. Chairman.
Any other questions?
Is this only just an in-house alcohol sale only, correct?
Yes.
Tell me again what's in your kitchen?
It's just gonna be a basic kitchen. We're gonna have refrigerators, we're gonna have the triple sink, we're gonna have the, likely Turbo Chef. We're not gonna have a hood or an oven, you know, anything like that. We're not gonna have raw food.
So, okay, so you can't cook on site without a hood?
No,
or
no, our
you
plan
can
is to
only
have-
reheat
Yes.
on site?
Yes, yeah. We didn't wanna get into the raw food.
So the one oven is your only means of preparing a meal?
Essentially, I mean, we'll have a microwave, but everything we will purchase will be like the chicken strips and stuff like that will be already fully cooked, and then you put them in the Turbo Chef oven.
I see you're going to be open at 9 a.m. So I guess you'll offer that menu too at 9 a.m.? or-
Yeah.
I have a question for council. Under our rules, we reference alcoholic beverage article 16-902B2 in connection with the discussion we've had about entrees, vegetables, menu, et cetera. Kelly, are you aware that whether or not there's a definition of entree in the state law?
I do not believe there is. That is something that I've looked at previously. I didn't revisit it right before this hearing. But I do have 16902 in front of me, and I have looked at that previously, and I do not believe that there is. This part of that, let me just go off of that real quick, is that the state law says full course meal. It doesn't use the terminology entree. It doesn't. It uses different terminology as well. But again, I have previously looked at those definitions, or all of the definitions, and have not found specific definitions for that language in the state code.
Okay, so you have 16902 right there.
Yes.
And it doesn't mention the word entree.
No.
It just says full course.
Is open for business at least 5 days a week and serves at least, and then it goes through this, it reiterates our rules, but it says 2 full course meals each day.
Does it describe full course?
It does not.
In your opinion, what's a full course mean?
I believe that this menu meets the requirements for a full course menu. There's a pizza as one of the options. To me, that's a full course meal. I know that it's subjective, right? But I think it's subjective for a reason, to allow this board some leeway in analyzing a business that comes in before the board and deciding whether it fits the criteria or not. And I submit to you that this business does, and that these operators specifically are very qualified to be operators of a restaurant with a Class B beer, wine, and liquor license, and value their reputation in this community and will run it just as, if not better, than perhaps other Class B establishments throughout Carroll County. And so I think that not only do they meet the technical requirements of the code, but that also everything presented here today has been nothing but their excellent character and reputation.
Any other questions before she proceeds?
No.
You may proceed.
Thank you. I would next call my character witnesses. So if you all want to line up, perhaps, whatever's easiest. Alexa, you can go first, because I know you have time constraints that we've probably already surpassed. So Alexa, can you just step forward to that microphone and please state your name and address for the record?
Alexa Hellenthal, 2335 Butler Road, Brownsville, Maryland, 21715.
Can you spell your last name for the record, please?
Hellenthal.
Okay. And Alexa, are you here today as a character witness for both Mike and Melissa Spence?
Yes,
Okay. How long have you known each of them?
2 years.
And how do you know both of them?
Professionally and social.
Okay. Do you believe that both, well, we'll say both, and if you differ, tell me, but do you believe that both Mike and Melissa are honest and responsible people to hold a liquor license?
Yes.
Okay. Do you find them both to be fit and proper people? And have you been present, and did you hear all of the testimony here today?
I did.
Okay. Those are my only questions for Alexa.
Questions of the,
I have no
all
question.
right, you have any questions?
May I ask that Alexa be dismissed in case she needs to leave?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Alexa, if you need to, you're welcome to leave. Thank you. Who's next? Mike, can you please state your name and address, spelling your last name for the record?
Michael Martin, 4336 Buffalo Road, Mount Airy, Maryland. Last name spelled Maerten.
And Mike, are you here today as a character witness for both Michael and Melissa Spence?
Yes,
Approximately how long have you known both of them?
approximately 6 years,
Okay. And how do you know them?
socially.
Do you believe that Mike and Melissa are both honest and responsible people?
Yes,
Do you find them both to be fit and proper to hold a liquor license?
yes,
Have you been present, and did you hear all of the testimony that they've offered here today?
I have, and yes, I did.
Are you familiar with the location that they've applied for in Eldersburg?
Yes,
Do you believe that it will be a benefit to the public to have a restaurant with a liquor license at that location?
yes.
Those are my only questions of Mike.
Any
Mr. Mike.
questions of this gentleman?
No questions.
Thank you, sir.
I have the ability to leave as well.
May Mike also be dismissed in case he needs to leave?
He must not like to hear our disposition. Yes.
Yes, thank you.
I assume the next lady's his wife. You can't go without her.
Yes, he can.
Go separately? Would you fall out already this morning? I'm just joshing you.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Tammy, can you please state your name and address, spelling your last name for the record, please?
Tammy Stocksdale Martin, Maerten, 4336 Buffalo Road, Mount Airy, Maryland.
Tammy, are you here today as a character witness for both Michael and Melissa Spence?
Yes,
And how long have you known each of them?
about 6 years.
And how do you know them?
Personally, our kids went to school together, and we've spent a good bit of time together. We really like them.
Do you find both Michael and Melissa to be honest and reliable people?
Very much so.
do you also find them to both be fit and proper people to hold a liquor license?
Yes,
Have you been present and did you hear all of their testimony in today's hearing?
yes,
Are you generally familiar with the location that's been applied for in Eldersburg?
yes, we've shopped there often.
Do you believe that it will be a benefit to the public to have a restaurant with a liquor license at that location?
Certainly, both personally and professionally.
What do you mean when you say professionally?
As an agent in the area, you need places for everyone to gather and do corporate events, and I think this would make a great place, 9 in the morning, to have a team event.
You're a realtor, correct?
Mhm.
Okay. Those are my only questions of Tammy.
Okay.
Questions?
I have no questions.
I think they said they have no questions.
No questions.
Any questions? No?
No answers. You may leave too if you want to catch your husband before he goes. Let him go, okay. Ms. Kelly, you have anything else to present?
Mr. Chair, that concludes my presentation of testimony.
Therefore, testimony is closed, and we will now go into any final summations or final remarks.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the board. I appreciate the opportunity to be here today. The Spences came to me having already compiled almost their entire application, and I have to say that although it's not of bearing to your decision here today, they are some of my only clients who actually had their entire application fully paginated and ready to go. And I say that because that is the level of seriousness with which they take this business. This is a huge investment, as the board has noted, for them today and for their future, as this is part of their retirement and family planning. And so this is not here before you today lightly. Not only from a business standpoint has this been a huge decision, but as you've heard testimony to, their reputation is of foremost importance to them, and specifically in Mike's career, his reputation is incredibly important in his existing career here today. So I do believe that everyone that comes before you values their reputation. However, I would say to you that perhaps in some regards, Mike cares about that even more. And I think that that is an incredibly important quality for someone requesting a liquor license before this board, because these are the people that you will hold responsible for operation of that license. And I think that all of the testimony that you've heard today is that they are more than qualified applicants. I understand some of the comments that you've raised related to the restaurant requirements. I would say that although this is perhaps not what you would think of as your traditional sit-down dining establishment in Carroll County, that it does qualify under the code, under the state law, and under the local rules and regulations to be considered a restaurant. I also would say to you that it is not that different from some other similar restaurant Class B licensed establishments across our county. And in some regards, it's better, I'll say. I shouldn't use the word better, but it's different in the sense that this is a controlled facility. This is all indoors, and there's a line of sight to all of these simulator booths, similar to a bowling alley. I think that's a good analogy. And so this is not an outdoor establishment where patrons are dispersed throughout massive grounds, or in some regards, not similar to your actual golf course in that relation either. So I do think it is different. It is more controlled. It meets the qualifications for a restaurant. And I would request here today that you approve this license to these two individuals for a Class B beer, wine, and liquor license for this facility. Thank you very much.
Inspector Bedford, you have any comments?
I did meet Mike and Melissa when they first came in to do the application. They had a lot of questions. Joe and I talked to them through this process. They've been very receptive to all our suggestions. I think that's going to go forward. They did come to take the alcohol awareness class. They both passed the alcohol awareness class. I think they both make fit and proper people to hold a liquor license.
Mr. Chairman, I want to make a motion to take a brief recess to take legal advice.
I second that motion.
Those have been made and seconded that we take a recess for legal advice. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. So ordered. We Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we're back in session.
I make a motion that we go back into session on case 6477 with discussion.
Second.
This has been made and seconded that we go back into regular session as we were recessed for legal advice. All those in favor, is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, no. So ordered. The reason for our recess was to discuss legal ramifications of some definitions as presented by this case 6477. With that,
Mr. Chairman, I'm prepared to make a motion in this case, if it's appropriate this time.
yes, sir.
Before I make the motion, I want to preface my reasons. In connection with the issue of the menu, council has provided us information that the state requires a full-course meal for a restaurant. Our rules mention entree. And I think the fact that there's no precise definition of either one gives this board the discretion based on the totality of the circumstances. And that totality of the circumstances includes, as counsel pointed out, the character of the applicants, their financial investment in this matter, what they have riding on this approval, and the fact that what you are suggesting, the business you're suggesting to establish is or will be I think, a huge amenity to the community. So I think this board has discretion to look at your menu and to judge, in our opinion, whether it has entrees on it. In my opinion, council can argue that it does. And in my opinion, your counsel successfully argued that to me, and I think to other members of the board. So Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that in the case of 6477 of the application for a new Class B beer, wine, and liquor license, I move that the application be approved and that the license be issued to Michael L. Spence and Melissa L. Spence for the use of Fairway to Heaven, Inc., trading as X-Golf Eldersburg, with the conditions that all required inspections and licenses are obtained before the license is provided.
Is there a second to the motion?
I second that motion.
Motion been properly made and seconded that this board approve an application for a Class B beer, wine, and liquor license to be issued to Michael L. Spence and Melissa Spence for the use of Fairway to Heaven, Inc., trading as X-Golf Eldersburg, 1346 Liberty Road, Sykesville, Maryland, 21784 in Election District 5, pending all approvals of various agencies. Is there any discussion on the motion?
I would just add that I think it's clear that they are fit and proper and honest people who are applying for this license.
I will second that.
That's the only discussion of the motion.
Hearing no other discussion, further discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. So ordered. Congratulations, best wishes.
Thank you
I
so
know
much.
that you got a chunk to recover.
Oh, yes.
Well, come play some golf.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Miss Kelly, if I could stand up, I would, but I can't even stand up.
Well, you can come have a drink while you watch other people golf.
There you go.
It can be entertaining as well.
Hey,
Especially with people like me.
after 60-some years, it ain't no fun just watching them.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you
Best
very
wishes,
much.
and I know you will succeed. because you have one of the most sophisticated ones that are available at this time, other than the $30 million one that Ms. Kelly referred to.
Yes.
See, that's just a driving.
Yeah, that's just a driving range.
Well, that's more than a driving range.
Oh, it is. It is.
I'm not gonna walk out with you, but thank you for coming.
It is. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you all. Good luck here.
Appreciate it.
Don't hesitate to call on our staff, Miss Vance up here, Keith and Jim.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Don't hesitate to call on them if you have any questions. We're there to serve you.
Absolutely. They've been great so
Super.
far.
Yep, they have.
Congratulations and good luck.
All right,
All right,
thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks again. Thanks. Thanks again.
And Miss Kelly, thank you very much for your letter on behalf of you and the other guy by the name of Schaefer.
You're welcome. Thank you.
However, I thought it was the attorney's job to fill all them applications out.
I can't sign for my clients. Good, how are you guys?
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we apologize for being a few minutes late. At this time, I'll ask our attorney, Mr. Dixon, to call case 6478, please.
All right, case 6478, an application for a new Class BRC beer, wine, and liquor license with catering and open for one meal only to be issued to Andrew Schuster for the use of Schuster's Craft Cocktail Concepts LLC, trading as Liquid Library, 84 East Main Street, Westminster, Maryland, 21157, in Election District 7. In the file of this matter, we have the following documents. A November 2nd, 2023 letter from Kelly Schaefer Miller to the board. A November 2nd, there's another November 2nd, 2023 letter from Kelly Schaefer Miller to the board. There's an October 27th, 2023 notice of public hearing for this case. There's an October 20th, 2023 notice of public hearing for this case. There's an October 17th, 2023 letter from India Richards, Revenue Specialist 1, to the board. Here is a response to Joe Vance's request to various state and local agencies from Lisa Staley, Health Department. This establishment does not meet the requirements of this office. See attached memorandum. A maintenance inspection and licensing must be completed prior to approval. There is a response to Joe Vance's request to various state and local agencies from Belinda Gassell, Collections Office. With the box checked, the above referenced establishment does meet the requirements of this office. There's an October 10th, 2023 letter from Joe Vance to Miss India Phillips, Revenue Specialist. There's an October 10th, 2023 letter from Joe Vance to Andrew Schuster. There's an October 5th, 2023 letter from Kelly Schaefer Miller to the board. And that letter includes an application, character references, driving record, criminal background information, workman's comp, a menu, a lease, SDAT information, financial information, operating agreement, floor plan, other licensed establishments, and articles of organization, and a plot plan. I would ask that the file be entered into evidence.
We'll accept that in evidence. This time, I would ask all those who intend to testify in the case, please stand, raise your right hand, and be sworn in by Ms. Vance.
Do you swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
With that, you all may be seated. Ms. Kelly, welcome again.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I think we're still
Still
morning.
morning.
Good morning. Kelly Schaefer Miller, 73 East Main Street, Westminster, Maryland, 21157. I'm here today on behalf of Schuster's Craft Cocktail Concepts LLC, doing business as Liquid Library. Andrew Schuster is present and seated to my left. I think most of you are probably familiar with this location as well, as there was previously a restaurant located at this location. It is on Main Street near the intersection of Longwell and Main Street, across from Cone Creative, I believe. The request here today is for a Class BR beer, wine, and liquor license with catering privileges as well. And without further ado, I will call Mr. Andrew Schuster. So, Andrew, can you please state your name and address, spelling your last name for the record?
Sure. Andrew Schuster, SCHUSTER, 16301 Cedar Grove Road, Sparks, Maryland, 21152.
Mr. Schuster, can you just tell the board a little bit about yourself and your experience in the restaurant industry?
Sure. I was born and raised in the Reicherstown area in Maryland. My family moved to Carroll County over 20 years ago and still live here. My father owns his own business in Westminster for over 20 years here. He was a real estate developer and served on the board at Farmers and Merchants for 22 years and was due to take over as the president the year of COVID, so he declined. I am married. I have a 3- and a 5-year-old and another child on the way in April. My wife, seated behind me, is a registered nurse. She worked at Carroll Hospital for 10 years in the emergency room.
Let me jump in real quick and also say, are you a little bit nervous today?
I am.
Okay.
I don't
Are
do-
you
I don't do
looking?
well speaking in front of
That's why I'm not calling you out on it, but I just want them to understand.
Yeah.
And are you looking at some notes that you've just
I am.
written so that you? Okay.
Mr. Schuster, this
sir.
is not a court. We're not going to find you in contempt or anything like that.
I used to take zeros in college when I had to stand and talk in front of people, so I don't do great with that.
How many children you say you have?
I have 2, a 3- and a 5-year-old, and we have another child on the way this spring.
Well, I'm the 5-year-old up here, so just act like you was talking to a 5-year-old.
All right, that works?
Okay. So not to cut you off, but I'd like you to explain to the board your experience in the restaurant industry.
Sure. I have over 20 years experience in the industry. I graduated college with a degree in hotel restaurant management. I did 2 internships in Times Square in Manhattan at the Crown Plaza, which is owned by Intercontinental Hotels Group. When I graduated, they hired me as a food and beverage assistant manager. I transferred with that company to a sister hotel in Australia and then New Zealand, and then I moved back to Maryland and worked at the Hyatt Resort in Cambridge. And then my wife and I moved to Key West, where I helped open another hotel, pool bar, and restaurant. And we were down there for a little over 4 years. And about 5 years ago, my wife and I decided that we wanted to start a family and move back here and be close to family. And the last 5 years, I have worked in the Timonium area and the downtown Westminster area in bars and restaurants.
And at the time of filing in today, are you a Maryland resident?
Yes.
And is this application that's before this board here today for the location that was previously known as 84 East, I believe?
Yes.
Okay. And there was a restaurant operating out of that facility, is that accurate?
Correct.
And you understand that today you've applied for a new Class BR beer, wine, and liquor license with catering privileges, is that accurate?
Yes.
Will you be leasing this space, or do you own the building?
We will be leasing the space.
Okay. Do you have any sort of hopeful opening date?
We are hoping for early December.
And can you explain to this board your anticipated hours and days of operation?
Sure. We are planning on opening at 11 in the morning for lunch on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then we are planning to open at 2 in the afternoon on Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We also plan on serving food on Friday and Saturday nights until midnight, because no one in town, other than McDonald's and Sheetz, there's nowhere else you can get food really past 9 or 10 o'clock.
Now, with the application that we've submitted here today, you provided a sample menu. Is that accurate?
Absolutely, yes.
And is that fairly representative of the type of food that will be offered? I want to note in there is a brunch menu as well. Is that correct?
We are not going to open with the brunch menu. It's
Okay.
something that we were hoping to do potentially down the road. But we are going to do appetizers, small plates, wood-fired pizza, salads, an array of different sandwiches, some charcuterie boards, and 3 or 4 desserts.
Okay. And can you explain to this board the floor plan? Well, first let me ask you, are you planning to change the floor plan drastically from the restaurant that operated there previously?
We are not, no.
Okay. So there's an interior component of seating, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And is that how you enter off of Main Street directly into the front of the restaurant portion?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Is there also outdoor seating?
There will be, yes.
Okay. And can you just describe the outside area? Is it enclosed? How is it enclosed?
Sure. Our intention for now, with being late in the season, is to probably not open the outside until the spring. But it's a 8 or a 10-seat bar with 4 or 5 tables that would seat up to 4 people, and then a few tables that would seat 2 people.
Okay, so you said that that's a seasonal use, it's not heated or
Seasonal.
anything, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and is it accurate that those seats have not counted towards your seating requirement under the code?
Correct.
Okay. Are all tables, including the tables outside, is the intent for all tables to be served, like table service?
All tables will be served by a waiter, waitress, or a bartender, correct?
Okay. And can you explain to the board what your role in this business will be, both
Sure.
globally and like from a daily perspective?
Sure. I intend to be there every day that we're open, general manager as well as owner.
Okay. And will you be the only general manager of this facility?
No,
Do you have an anticipated second general manager?
I do.
Okay, and who is that?
Chad Ferrari.
Okay. And is Chad also a member of the LLC, Schuster's Craft Cocktail Concepts LLC?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And does he also have experience in the industry?
He does.
Can you just generally, I'm not, if you don't know, you don't know, but can you generally explain Chad's experience in the industry, in the restaurant industry?
Sure. I know Chad was instrumental in one of the people that helped open Rock Salt many years ago and has worked there ever since, up until myself and him decided to do that. And I believe you have other experience previous to that.
I can ask Chad to testify if this board wants to. For right now, we'll just keep going on Andrew's testimony. So, Andrew, is it just a fair statement to say that Chad is experienced in the restaurant industry?
Absolutely.
Okay. And are you TIPS or TAM certified?
I am.
Okay. Will you, as part of your role in this restaurant, will you be responsible for developing and training your employees?
Absolutely.
And obviously, a part of that training will be related to the service of alcoholic beverages, correct?
Yes.
Will you provide tips or any alcohol certification training to your employees?
We will, absolutely, yes.
Can you explain what your intent is with regard to that?
Our intent right now is that all bartenders would be tip certified, and we would like to have all waiter waitresses also tip certified. And our intent right now is to kind of monitor that on a monthly basis with the turnover that we have in the beginning.
So when you say evaluate that on a monthly basis, do you mean like on a monthly basis, if there are any new employees who have not been certified, investigate getting them certified?
Yes.
Okay. And you're aware that now through the county, we offer certification as well, correct?
Yes, I am.
Okay. In addition to requiring that new employees obtain some sort of alcohol certification, is it also your intent to have an in-house training program with new employees.
Yes, absolutely.
Have you and Chad discussed what the policy on the acceptance of vertical IDs will be?
We have.
And what is that policy?
We will not accept vertical IDs.
Okay. And have you also discussed when your employees will be required to request identification?
Yes, we would like everyone that looks to be under the age of 40 to be ID'd.
And as part of the onboarding for new employees, will they be required to shadow an experienced employee?
Yes, we would like them to have a minimum of 3 shifts as a shadowed employee.
Okay. As part of the training for, well, are you aware of this board's rules and regulations book?
Yes,
Okay, as part of the training of your employees, will you train your employees on the rules and regulations of this board?
yes,
Are you also aware of the state's attorney's diversion program, whereby this board reports any violations to the state's attorney's office?
yes,
Is it your intent to train and notify your employees of that policy?
absolutely.
Will you require that your employees go through this training, be trained on all of the policies that you just testified to, and sign an employee acknowledgement of same?
Yes, absolutely, as well as our own personal handbook that we're working on currently.
Okay, so you will have an onboarding process whereby employees are also provided some sort of employee handbook?
Yes,
Okay. Have you discussed with Chad the placement of, or have you independently discussed the placement of signage around the facility related to your policies?
yes, we would like to have some signage on the front window or the front door, as well as behind the bar.
Okay, and that signage is geared at the service of alcoholic beverages?
Correct.
Okay, specifically your policies that you testified to in regards to no acceptance of vertical IDs?
Correct.
Okay. And are you a member of Schuster's Craft Cocktail Concepts LLC?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And what percentage, well, actually, hold on, back up. Did you register a trade name under that LLC for Liquid Library?
Yes, we did.
Is it the intent to operate the establishment, for the public name to be known as Liquid Library?
It is, yes.
Okay. And what percentage of membership interests do you hold in Schuster's Craft Cocktail Concepts LLC?
50%.
Okay. Who are the other members of that LLC?
Chad.
Right. And can you just, I mean, you explained some of Chad's background in the industry, but can you explain how you know Chad?
I've known Chad for about 5 years, just from working in town, and kind of struck up a friendship, and we spent time outside of work as well as at work together. So.
And does it go without saying that you believe he's a good person to be a business associate with?
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, you understand that although you've applied for this license under the name of Schuster's Craft Cocktail Concepts LLC, doing business as Liquid Library, that for all purposes of this liquor license, you are responsible, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And have you made yourself familiar with this board's rules and regulations booklet?
I have.
In part of your capacity, have you been responsible for enforcing these in other establishments as well, or similar policies around
have,
Maryland and
yes.
other states? Okay. And are you willing to comply with all of the rules and regulations in this book?
Yes, absolutely.
Those are my only questions for Mr. Schuster.
Questions of Mr. Schuster?
I think I missed it while I was looking at the file. What were your hours of operation?
We will be open from 11 in the morning on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then we're going to open at 2 on Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
And you're closing?
The only day we'll be closed is Tuesday.
I'm sorry, your closing hours.
Midnight, most nights would be what we anticipate, kind of dependent on how busy the place is.
And will you offer your menu the entire time you're open?
We're going to offer the entire menu until 10, and then we are going to cut the menu down a little bit, and on Fridays and Saturdays, we are going to do a late-night menu.
And how many seats do you have?
Let me pull the floor plan out, if you will. Give me a second here. believe that there are 53 seats at tables and 10 seats at the bar. And that's inside. The outside patio is separate, is additional seating. Or maybe not patio, the rear outdoor space is additional seating.
Is that the schematic that has the drawings and because I counted 24 chairs.
Are you looking at this one?
I must not have been. Maybe, I don't know.
It should be right after the Exhibit 6 divider page in there, if it's on there. So,
Exhibits to the application?
yes, yes.
The exhibit numbers are not in there.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna pull out my calculator just to make sure that I'm not misstating this.
Yeah, 53 sounds, there's no way it can have 53
I was gonna say
tables and
that-
chairs. That
that-
place is too small.
Do you see
I
the
thought we
one?
counted,
I must have been
hey,
looking
Chad,
at the
I
one.
thought we counted like
No,
around
that's not what I was
36.
looking at.
She has how many seats, not how many tables. I think there's 53 seats.
I was looking at one that had like,
This one?
If I remember
Yeah,
correctly,
what is
th-
that
this,
one then?
this was a question
Right.
Yeah.
Well, this is
Previously,
one of the
about
reasons we
50
went to
seats.
15 seats
to the bar.
to the bar. So I think it's around probably 35 tables
You know
and
what, yeah,
chairs.
when we counted, it was a 30, because you said
Like
you had enough.
35,
Yeah.
36, something like that, and then.
You had enough
and then
with
it-
the bar, yes. Yeah.
And then add the bar seating.
Yes, sir.
There's enough,
Okay.
there's over 50 seats.
We can
Mark.
provide a revised
well, I was just wondering
floor
what that very,
plan if the table layout, the floor plan that was provided shows 53 seats at tables and chairs in addition to the bar, but I think what we're hearing is that that might practically be too
the
squeezed.
very last page has.
24.
Has 24 seats, has tables and,
It's a hand-drawn diagram.
that-
Let me-
that's
At the
what
very
I.
top, it says
Do you mind
fridge.
if I approach and just
I
look at?
think we have that one, but that's where I ended, so that's where I counted.
I am now.
That's the restaurant portion.
So what's the other one? Gotcha. Thank you. Appreciate that.
And what is the third page?
Well, is that on the third page? Yeah,
This is where you had 24 seats.
yeah, the-
24
Oh,
seats
I'm
is
sorry,
up,
that's the outdoor floor plan. What's this page?
that's the outdoor, out, back, up the stairs.
Okay, so you go up the stairs to the parking lot that's behind the building.
Yes, there's a patio, wooden deck patio and
Right,
covered.
so it has a bar top and an oven and bar
Yes.
stools and, okay.
Okay.
We understand now, I think.
Yeah, now I understand. That's where I ended up. That's where I counted. And I noticed there's no signature on the lease. You have an intent to lease.
Yes, yes, and the landlord's actually here as one of the character witnesses as well.
Okay.
So in case there are questions related to that, he is here, but yes, the intent is to lease this conditioned upon this approval here today.
That's all I have.
Mr. Barnhart, do you have any questions of Mr. Schuster this time?
My question was just answered about the outdoor seating. It's up behind the building there's a parking lot there?
Correct.
Okay,
There's a spa on the other level, and that's the entrance to go into the spa, and then there's a.
right. And service will be provided up there by waitstaff?
Yes, sir.
And drinks will be delivered up there?
Drinks will hopefully, the majority of them will come from, there's a bar there as well.
Okay. And so whoever is tending that bar is monitoring alcohol consumption?
Yes, sir.
And just as an aside, you related to Schuster Concrete?
Yes, sir.
I went to school with,
Danny?
seventh grade, I can't.
Yes, that's my uncle, my father's brother, yes.
One room
Is he
schoolhouse.
70?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was going to ask the same thing. I fed them when I had a restaurant out at the air park. I used to go to that little white building and feed them.
Yes, that's my uncle, yeah.
Okay.
They're probably extra laughing because I asked the same thing too of him just the other day, so.
I know that a lot of his employees live in Carroll County as well.
The only thing I can say is stay out of the way of the trucks. Any other questions of Mr. Schuster?
Just real quick, in Cambridge at the Hyatt, you were involved in the restaurant?
I was involved in, they have a bar outside in the summertime where there's two pools. They have a place called Blue Point, which is like a seafood restaurant, and then they have several bars and restaurants inside. I kind of oversaw, managed all of them, and bartended at several of them, so.
Okay. Great place.
It is a great place. Great place in the summer. It struggles a little bit in the winter, but
Yep. They keep that golf course open year-round, don't they?
they do. Yeah.
That's all the questions I have, Mr. Chairman.
Any questions?
No questions.
I have no questions, Judy.
Thank you. I would next call my character witnesses. If you want to, well, Chad's already sitting up here, so let's let Chad go first. Okay. Chad, can you please state your name and address, spelling your last name for the record?
Chad Ferrari, Ferrari, and my address is 400 Babylon Court, Westminster, Maryland, 21158.
And Chad, are you here today as a character witness for Andrew Schuster?
I am, yes.
How long have you known Andrew?
About 5 years.
And in what context have you known Andrew?
I started to know him as one of my bartenders that I frequented, and then we became friends, and we started hanging out outside, and then eventually became business partners.
Okay. And in this capacity of knowing Andrew, do you find him to be a fit and proper person to hold a liquor license?
I do.
Have you found him to be an honest and reliable person?
Very.
Are you familiar with, well, I hope you are you familiar with the location that's been applied for?
I am, yes.
Okay. And do you believe that it will be a benefit to the public to have a restaurant with a liquor license at that location?
I absolutely do.
Those are my only questions for Chad, although I will note that he is the same Chad that Andrew was just testifying to, so if the board has any additional questions of him.
Questions?
No questions.
Just a quick question for whoever wants to answer it. So the kitchen configuration is not going to be changed, is
No,
that
sir.
right?
No.
Correct. And I haven't been in a long time. What is the kitchen configuration? What does it consist of?
It has a wood-fired pizza oven.
Okay.
It has several, they call them turbo chefs. They're like a fast, quick cooking oven. And it has lots of sandwich and salad prep stations and coolers but no fryers, and there's not a hood in there, so no grill, no fryer.
Okay. There's been a lot of different businesses there, restaurants and so forth. You're probably aware.
I am.
And you surely are confident that what you're going to put in there is going to survive where others have not.
Yes, sir, I am. Very.
But, I think you will.
No other questions? You may proceed.
Chad, if you wouldn't mind, well, we've got an extra chair over there.
I can get
Elaine? Elaine, can you please state your name, spelling your last name and address for the record?
Elaine Grizel, Grizzel, 68 Keenan Street, Tonytown, Maryland.
And Elaine, are you here today as a character witness for Andrew Schuster?
Yes,
And how long have you known Andrew?
about 10 years.
And in what context, how do you know Andrew?
Well, he's my son-in-law.
And in your capacity of knowing Andrew, have you found him to be a fit and honest person to hold a liquor license?
Absolutely.
Are you familiar with the location that's been applied for?
I am.
Okay. Do you believe that it will be a benefit to the public to continue or to have a new restaurant with a liquor license at that location?
I do.
Those are my only questions of Elaine.
I have no questions.
There's no questions.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you. I would next call Mr. Rob Bonnet. Rob, can you please state your name, spelling your last name and address for the record?
My name is Rob Bonnet, B-O-N-N-E-T. Address?
Yes, please.
1700 Murata Drive, Westminster, Maryland, 21157.
Rob, are you here today as a character witness for Andrew Schuster?
I am.
Are you also the owner of the location that's been applied for today?
I am.
Okay. How long have you known Andrew?
About 5 years.
Okay. And how have you known Andrew?
I've known Andrew, well, his wife, Laura, is a client of my wife's at our spa, which we operate at the same location. We met Andrew through his various bartending jobs around town, and also from Laura bringing him to the spa.
Okay. And in your capacity of, or your history of knowing Andrew, have you found him to be a proper person to hold a liquor license?
Absolutely. Hard worker.
And I think it goes without saying that you're familiar with the location that's been applied for, correct?
I am.
Do you-
It's been a mixed bag.
Do you believe that it will be a benefit to the public to have a restaurant with a liquor license at that location?
Absolutely. No one in town is more excited about this than me.
Okay. Those are my only questions of Mr. Bonnet.
I don't have a question. I will just comment that the upgrade to the front of the building is phenomenal.
Thank
It
you.
really is. It kind of makes it pop out a little more there than.
So much. My wife and I have worked very hard to get to the point where we could afford to do that, and we had a real conflict over the color. When my wife picked the color, and I was like, Mary, I'm scared, it's so dark. And she put her hand on my shoulder, and she said, I'm sorry you feel that way. So we compromised.
That color it is. Well, it's noticeable,
Thank you.
which is a good thing. in this.
Appreciate
Yes.
that. Yep.
I have no questions, Mr. Chairman.
Any other questions? No other questions? I have none. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, that concludes the testimony from my side of this case. Thank you.
You have another witness back there?
Andrew's wife? Unless there's someone else hiding that I do not see.
Now's her chance. Now's your chance. Speak now, forever hold your peace. You can say anything you want.
You must have been visiting those state laws recently. Didn't they just change the state laws, or they're about to change it so that now wives can testify against husbands and vice versa? That must have been forefront on your most recent legislative review.
Not mine. Unfortunately, okay, I have enjoyed matrimonial bliss for more years than most of you in here are old. That tells you how old this old man is.
It's a good thing.
You have any other testimony?
That concludes the testimony for my case. Thank you.
Testimony has been concluded, so we will now go into, before I do that, I forgot. Perhaps, do you have any comments, Inspector Benfer, since you've been there?
I really don't know Andrew or Chad. I mean, I've known them through Roxall several times, but I do think it's a good idea doing it just as an R restaurant, giving just one meal, requiring just one meal there. I think that's a big draw on the finances when they have to staff people for lunchtime when no one shows up. I think this is a good way to go. I think it's a good place for a restaurant, and I hope they do well.
With that, testimony has closed. Now we will move into any final arguments. Ms. Kelly?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I hope that I don't have to make too much of an argument here. I think that the testimony that you've heard has been that Mr. Schuster is more than a fit and proper person to hold this license. He has quite an extensive experience in the industry, which I think will serve him well, and has obviously guided his decision in deciding to operate a restaurant at this specific location. Personally, I am very excited because my office is right across the street. So I look forward to a restaurant coming back to this location, just as Mr. Bonnet shared his sentiments there as well. We are requesting your approval here today for a Class BR beer, wine, and liquor license with the catering privilege. I appreciate Mr. Benfer's kind of chiming in on the R portion of that license, because that is why we have selected this license classification in the event that, although I won't speak for Andrew, I think he would like to offer more meals, but right now from a business standpoint, it seemed to make more sense to have the limited meals offered, and therefore we are requesting the Class BR license. So with that, I would respectfully request your approval of that license here today, conditioned upon receiving any other necessary health department building permit approvals to obtain that license. Thank you.
Inspector Benfer, any comments?
No.
Hearing none, Testimony is now closed, and we will decide the merits of the application. Ladies and gentlemen, comments, questions?
Well, Mr. Chairman, if I may start, I agree with everything that council has said in her closing comments, especially the part about your best chance of surviving that location for the time being is the R. I think it's a smart thing to do. I think it's clear that you are a fit and proper person, just from the testimony that we've received. Your experience is extensive and impressive, so that's something that we always like to see. You know what you're doing, and I suspect that you will be very successful there. It's, as far as a public benefit at that particular location, as mentioned, it's been a mixed bag, but I think your decision to have late hours on a weekend to provide good food on a later in the weekend is another good move on your part. I believe the testimony was no vertical licenses are accepted, and that you're going to card everyone under 40. So as usual, council has fully prepared the licensee for testimony, and so you know what the board expects, and you're aware of it, and your testimony has been right on point on all those matters. So thank you for that. I'm prepared to endorse a motion from fellow commissioners on this.
Thank you.
Proceed, please.
I do agree that I'm glad that something's coming back to that area, and I do think that you have really thought this out. I'm glad you were diligent and hung in with this endeavor. I love the liquor library because I work right down the street at the library. So now I can actually say, I'm going to the library, and they might think I'm going to work. The hours are great for not burning yourself out. Having opened and run a restaurant in the city for over a decade, it's easy to burn out. So I think that was smart to not give yourself more than you could chew in the beginning. And that in itself makes me respect the fact that you will do the right thing when having this license. So that being said, I'm prepared to make a motion.
Thank you.
I move in the case of 6748, an application for a Class BRC beer, wine, and liquor license with catering and open for only one meal issued to Andrew Schuster for the use of Schuster's Craft Cocktails. I move that license be approved.
I second that motion.
Motion's been made and seconded that we approve the application for a Class BRC beer, wine, and liquor license with catering and open for one meal only to be issued to Andrew Schuster for the use of Schuster's Craft Cocktail Concepts, LLC, trading as Liquid Library, 84 East Main Street, Westminster, Maryland.
Thank you, sir.
Is there any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. So ordered. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Much
Best of
appreciated.
luck.
Thank you.
Now, I have some off-the-record questions. Jack Daniels Kielbasa, or whatever you pronounce it.
Kielbasa, yes.
Yes, sir.
You got all kinds of chicken, veggie dishes. The only meat I see on there, beef. It's a hamburger and meatballs.
There's some smoked pork belly that's going to be a thing.
That's not beef.
He doesn't count that.
There's a flank steak.
There's a flank steak as well.
coming too.
Oh, there's a flank
No.
steak coming.
No ribeyes, no Delmonico's.
Given that we don't have a grill, and it's pretty limited the way that we can cook inside of that wood fire oven.
But you got all kinds of pizzas on there.
Because they cook them in the,
We cook those in
everything
the
gets
oven.
cooked in the wood fire oven.
Tell you what, if you come in, I'll make you a steak, my man. I absolutely will. It will be so good.
Just announce yourself.
Black Angus.
Black Angus steak.
Black Angus steak.
It'll have to come from DLB beef then if it's gonna be that good.
Yes, sir. Our biggest struggle was being able to cook it to temperature that people would be ordering without a grill, so.
You can't please people like Pullen and Benford, so it don't matter. No, sincerely, congratulations, good luck to you.
Thank you very
there.
much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
As you all know, and certainly the owner of the property knows, there's been some ins and outs and so on and so forth, and I think you've got a new idea that I think will be much more accommodating than 16 hours a day open with nobody there for 10 of them.
That's the hope,
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you
And
very
I
much.
love the 11 on Saturday, because there's only one other restaurant within walking distance of the library that's open for lunch on a Saturday. So everybody at work is like, because they saw the sign on, and they're like, when are they opening? When are they opening? I'm like, oh, no, tomorrow. They used to all order pizzas on Saturdays.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Thank you.
Good luck and best wishes.
Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you very much.
Appreciate it.
Ms. Kelly, when you told where this was, if you'd have just said the old post office, I would have known where it was.
Sometimes I tell people, you know, the old firehouse, and it's too dated
I
of a
know that
reference
too.
that now my clients have no clue what I'm talking about.
What was the name of the restaurant that was on the corner of Longwell and Maine years ago?
I do, well, no, they.
I probably shouldn't ask you, that's before your time.
No, was that Center in Maine.
No,
Or,
Longwell.
Fat
Oh,
Cat.
yeah,
Where
Longwell.
their house is, where Opportunity.
Yeah, that's Center.
See, Kelly, you got to learn to play your crowd to know descriptions. So if you just said post office, we all would have known.
Now I know.
She
Now it's
knows.
phone creative, so.
Okay, according to my schedule,
Permits, everything we signed off by permits, health department, all that.
this completes the business that I have on both schedules. Is there anything else? I've got a question from our inspectors, but
See you guys.
after they're through.
Now, we're on the hot seat.
Thank you, good luck.
Thank you.
Just two quick questions. You have what, one class scheduled this month?
Yes,
And that's where? Roxall?
Greenmount Station.
Greenmount Station. How
Next
many,
Monday from 1 to 4.
any scheduled for next month?
Not right now, I haven't.
Not right now?
Only place I have offered, we have one coming for the Coon Club probably around February. But we might not do anything in December with the holiday season. It might be too busy for them.
How about underage inspections?
Well, not through want of trying, but we don't have any volunteers.
Don't have any volunteers?
We keep getting promised we're going to get volunteers, but as of yet, they've not materialized. I've been on to a couple of places, and maybe this week there could be a promise of 3 coming from McDaniel College. I was in at a establishment in Eldersburg, and the general manager there said her son possibly could be interested in doing it. So I'm going to have to, when I go down to Eldersburg on Friday, I'll go in and have a chat with her again and see if we can get things moving. Because at the moment I'm at a standstill, and I want to get things moving because I'm behind schedule.
Okay, good. Now, the real reason I ask you to stay, which one of you are going to check out the beer bath?
I'm going on Friday, but I'm not taking my swimming trunks.
Well,
I don't think there's any liquor there, though.
they just picked the license up, so they won't have alcohol until probably beginning next week.
Well, I just want to go down. and
But
look
I am
around
not
the
going,
place.
I am not going to go into the tub.
Not even with me?
Hit the gavel. Hit the
Are they about ready to open? It was
They
real.
just picked up the license yesterday, so I would expect within the next couple of days. But to get distributor and get alcohol in, it takes a couple of days to get that, so beginning next week.
Do they have the equipment there?
Yeah, it's
all ready
up,
to go.
everything's up, ready to go. They got, everything's approved.
So the only thing left is getting the product in there?
Now, I'll tell you what you can do. You can go play golf when they get that open, and take your frustration out and go to the other outfit in the other
Yeah, it
complex.
might feel good after swinging the golf clubs and
And throw
not in a while.
throw axes and take your frustration out there, and then you can go up and have a beer bath. This meeting is adjourned.
But I could also go